Has Reiss Nelson revived his career at Arsenal? Welcome back to the Arsenal podcast. Arsenal 5 and Nottingham Forest. No, what a game. Honestly, wasn't expecting this good of a performance. We all know that Nottingham Forest last week they beat Liverpool 1-0, and everybody thought, you know what, they are capable of beating big teams. They're capable of staying in the league perhaps. But nobody would have thought today's score favors Arsenal way a lot, and nobody would have thought Arsenal would have probably make such a great comeback compared to the last game that they play against PSV. Of course, it was a terrible game, but finally, right here, we can brush that game away and focusing on this game, Nottingham Forest, and of course, going to this game, woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning. It was raining horribly. It was still dark outside. And I was like, no, I'm not going to let the weather to determine the result for today. And within, 10, 15 minutes, we scored the first goal. Great goal by Martinelli. Just creating everything, received the ball kind of right outside the box on the left-hand side. Switches play to Bukayo Saka, cross it in, perfect cross right there, literally pretty much around the chest area or the stomach area, and Martinelli was right there. Again, a instinctive play by Martinelli to head the ball, and we scored the first goal. Who would have thought, to be honest? And the starting 11, again, I'm still a little bit skeptical on Tomiyasu playing on the left back area. Nothing against Tomiyasu at all. I think he's a great player. It's such a great asset for us. But the fact that he is more natural on the right-hand side, and of course the build-up play on the left-hand side is kind of lacking compared to having Kieran Tierney, the overlapping run, which Tierney make very often. We kind of don't have that much of a support. We only have maybe a few chances, maybe one or two chances on the left-hand side. But that was pretty much it from Tomiyasu. But of course, you guys can see he was more tucked in the middle, kind of providing that type of Zinchenko's play. I don't know if Arteta's won, exactly the same template when Zinchenko was in the starting lineup or not. But certainly, again, it worked because, again, Nottingham Forest, no disrespect to them, but they are not a very good team. So we're able to utilize Tomiyasu on the left-hand side just like that. But Kieran Tierney in other games, honestly, I think Chelsea or even the Wolves, I think we should have probably put him, we should start him once again. I think that would be the right call, to be honest. But the fact that, we are all trusting Arteta till this point, and I'm sure Arteta has his point to make. So I'm not going to particularly criticize him of having Tomiyasu as a left back, but whatever he thinks that is gonna work, allow it. I trust my manager, so be it. And again, Zinchenko's missing once again. I believe he has been missing for pretty much a month. Pretty sure the last time we had Zinchenko was the game against Spurs. Since then, he has been gone for like a month or so. It felt like I felt like he is that type of a ghost player. Like, yeah, he had a strong presence in the team, but all of a sudden he just comes in and go just like that, and I felt like, I haven't seen him to play for a while, which is honestly, I think that was very bizarre. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but based on what I'm feeling, just personally based on my feeling, I'm not surprised if we're not going to see Zinchenko until after the World Cup, which is 2 months away from now, I think. So hopefully he's going to be fine, but I doubt he is going to be available for the remainder of the 4 games that we're going to play. In the first half, of course, another big agenda they want to talk about is Bukayo Saka apparently picked up a knock. Hopefully, even Arteta doesn't really quite give us like a confirmed confirmation of what happened. But certainly, Saka picked up a knock. I think after it was a foul on the right-hand side. He continues to play, but he was nimbling here and there, and I think there's no point of risking him at that point. It was already 25 minutes in. I don't remember the time, but certainly I think it was time for Bukayo Saka to kind of get subbed off. I don't want. I mean, the fact that World Cup's around the corner, I know it means a lot to him, his family, and also to to the whole England nation as well. I certainly do think that it's a right call to actually sub him off. And the person that I was thinking of, okay, if they're subbing Bukayo Saka off, honestly, by the way, the protection on Bukayo Saka is just not well enough, to be honest. I think right now Bukayo Saka is way more vulnerable than before. It's because whomever trying to tackle Bukayo Saka, they tends to walk away without anything, without any precaution and anything, or even warning, nothing like that. And Bukayo Saka, unfortunately, today just kind of picked up way too many knocks. I think 3 times today, but I don't know how what's the extent of his injury, but certainly I hope it's not going to be bad. I hope it's just going to be somewhat of a knock. And even though if he's not part of the squad against FC Zurich on Thursday, I'm okay with it as long we want him to stay healthy against the game against Chelsea, Brighton, and also Wolves. So, as I said, the first person that comes into mind when we have to sub, when we have to sub Saka off, it's actually Fabio Vieira. But again, I don't think naturally he is. I don't think naturally he can play on the as a right winger. Certainly, he is more of a middle player. Drifting left and right, being such a great presence, important presence everywhere on the pitch. But I don't think he might be the right call. I thought it was Marquinhos, but I think it'll be way too early for Marquinhos. But who would have thought in the end it was Reiss Nelson in the end. And of course, he was meant to be the star boy for Arsenal. Back in 2017, I believe that season he made his debut under Wenger back then. Of course, there were clips showing he's a he's a very good free kick taker, the next superstar. Went out a few loans, and after he came back, nothing seems to be the same anymore. And of course, I don't know what kind of a treatment he gets under Mikel Arteta. But think about this, because eventually, Nelson was part of the first 11, which Arteta has been selecting before when we hit the pandemic back then. He was constantly being picked as a starting 11, even. Well, if it's not every day, every week, starting 11 might be once in a while. Again, he is. You can say he was quite a regular starter back then, but of course, with the recent few loan spell, didn't quite work out, or he did decent, but didn't quite make a huge impact on Mikel Arteta. It's really hard to tell, to be honest. We all thought that Reiss is going to leave the club this season for something like that, but apparently he is determined to stay. He trained hard. He is determined to have a future here in Arsenal. And of course, it felt that part of the conversation kind of felt slim, because the fact that he was injured early on in the month of August and also September. And of course, since September, the game against Bodo Glimt, he started that game, felt okay, nothing special, and I thought, okay, I feel like it might be the time for him to leave the club by the end of the contract. But oh well, what a game that he had today. He came on. You guys can see there's a massive shift. There's a massive difference between Bukayo Saka and also Reiss Nelson. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Reiss Nelson, right-footed on the right-hand side. He's not that type of inverted winger we want him to be. But the fact that he's not quite a risk taker. Instead, he retains the ball very well. I believe he has a passing accuracy of 92%. You guys can see he's trying to play safe in a lot of the moments in the first half where he decided there's a lot of times where he didn't want to take on any of the players, which is, I totally understand that. But of course, Bukayo Saka, again, more of a risk taker, but higher yield, higher gain. That's what Bukayo Saka is. But for Reiss Nelson, it gives us a different dynamics in terms of the play that we can put in on the right hand side right now, instead of constantly making Reiss Nelson play on the left hand side. I'm pretty sure that might not be his natural position, but certainly, I'm sure he would prefer on the right hand side. He seems natural on the right hand side, to be honest. But you know what? Going into the first half, scored the first goal. Reiss Nelson came on. We have a few more chances. We wanted Jesus to score a goal so bad in this game. He needs that. He needs that confidence back. And of course, today he had a lot of chances, missed a few of them, and even in the first half, he missed a few of them as well. Probably should have scored at least a goal or two more. But the last 5 minutes was, again, very, very clumsy at the back. We switch off in a lot of times. Saliba makes a mistake, could have done better with one of the clearance, which was traveling in midair. And the other one, I always believe, it was a big Gabby. I think he had a fine game throughout the whole game, but that pass just certainly gives everybody a heart attack. It was a brilliant pass, by the way. If he was on the opposition team, if he was one of the Forest player, it would have been a great pass. The fact that I think set it off to Morgan Gibbs White or Jesse Lingard. I think it was Jesse Lingard. It was perfectly set up, but of course, good block by Ben White in the end. Good awareness, and we somehow in the last 5 minutes of the first half we escape the trouble that we had, because I thought if we somehow unfortunate enough to concede that goal in the last 5 minutes, the second half would have been another different game, a totally different momentum that we try to go into the game. The fact that Forest might try to push on, trying to take that lead in the second half, but thank God we held on to it. And halftime 1-0. And second half right there, 3 minutes in, Reiss Nelson, welcome back to the club, son. And he finally scored his second goal. I believe his second goal in the league. I remember the first goal he scored was against Liverpool. But then he hasn't scored for Arsenal for quite a while, to be honest. And I think this season, if he want to establish himself to be quite of a squad player, I don't know if he minds to be a squad player, or even be that type of fringe player, squad player that competes on the same level as Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, either one. That would be fantastic to be honest. But everybody wants him to strive at this point. But he scored the first goal again, a very good counter attack. But Thomas Partey again, what a baller, what a CDM that we have right now. I think him alongside with Casemiro, both of them are definitely one of the best CDMs so far in the league. And the fact that the way how we started that attack was, Xhaka storming forward on the left hand side, just making a pocket of space on the left hand side, especially. Partey finds the pass to Jesus, and Jesus clever little pass to Reiss Nelson. Fake two of the players, they fell onto the floor. Try to finish with his left. Not a very good finish, but in the end, he got the rebound, smashed that one in, 2-0. And I'm pretty sure I was in quite a relief, but with Arsenal, you will never know what kind of surprises that they can give us. And the third goal we score, again, just being very important in the action of the box right there. Odegaard to Jesus, crosses in the middle to Reiss Nelson, and he's right there at the right time. I don't think Bukayo Saka would have probably made such a sweet contact as what Reiss has done. And we were already 3-0 up and felt like the game, it's pretty much over. It's all about entertainment now. And again, there's a lot going on with Gabriel Jesus. Yes, everybody that's feeling a little bit upset or maybe disappointed that he's not scoring goals, but the fact that his presence in the squad makes a huge difference to the squad. He makes everybody around him plays better. Xhaka allowing him to create more spaces. Martinelli's, Saka, and even everybody in general. He is that type of player that brings everything up. Even though he doesn't score goals, at this moment it's fine because we can score goals from pretty much everywhere, from left wing, right wing, center mid, anywhere. And that is the beauty of having Gabriel Jesus, allowing the possibility to create openings or create possibility chances for other positional players to create a goal scoring chance, and that's what he did. And yes, I was disappointed that he didn't get a goal, but the fact that today he had, I think, 2 assists today, if I remember correctly, shows how important he is as a footballer, and of course how influential he is to the team as of right now. And the 4th goal, Thomas Partey, he has been missing all those chances. Who remembers when he first came in the first season, trying to take a lot of shots? Nothing came close. I believe. None of them hits the crossbar. I could barely remember he probably strike one of those chances where it hits the goalkeeper. Nothing like that. Before, it was all over the place, above the bar, side of the woodwork, whatever you call it. But this season he is built different. Finally, I think he kind of momentarily getting that familiarity within the league, and he felt so comfortable playing as a CDM today. And the fact that there were so many good passes, and of course that goal as well, just a complete template to the one against Spurs pretty much. But I think this one today, today's goal might have been, it looks better, it feels better compared to the Spurs game. But of course, you guys can have your own judgment in terms of that, because I think in terms of beauty of the goal, I would say Nottingham Forest, but in terms of the situation, the whole environment, the whole vibe of it has to be the Spurs one, because again, his first goal of the season, a worthy first goal against Spurs, and of course first goal in the game as well. We just have to make him to stay fit at this point, because without him, it is going to be a very tough season, to be honest. We had experienced that last season a couple of times, where he was out, extensively with his injury or suspension, or even the AFCON competition tournament. And who else? Of course, we made sub Cedric. Welcome back, and you know what? Great to have him. Great to have him in squad again. Interested enough, he is playing as a left back. Again, you guys can see he probably tucked in a few times in the middle, trying to recreate what Tomiyasu did. Again, I think it's understandable, justifiable, where Martinelli's being taken off. He's not upset about it. Perfect, because he knows how important he is. We know that we already killed the game. We won. We were winning the game already, and I felt like there's no point of keeping. Martinelli and also Tomiyasu long enough in there. But the fact that what bugs me a little bit is I thought Tierney's going to come on at least playing as a left back, and then Ben White might switch off, or maybe one of the center back being subbed off as well, and you put Cedric on the right hand side. But apparently that was not the case. And then the last 2 changes that we made was Nketiah and Kieran Tierney. Both of them didn't do anything. We pretty much sealed the game. And of course, Martin Odegaard with a very cheeky finish inside the box. Great finish. We made it 5-0. And unfortunately, Sambi Lakonga. Again, tough topic. We went over this, but the fact that if he didn't make any appearance today, or didn't even play a single minute, it's quite worrying in a way. But at the same time, he is definitely going to play against the game against Zurich. The fact that Partey is on throughout the whole game pretty much, so I assume Sambi is going to start in that game as well. Hopefully no injuries, and hopefully Bukayo Saka is going to be fine after the knock. Well, nobody knows how bad it was, but hopefully, he's still able to walk away with it. Maybe just cannot continue to run or sprint, whatever. But certainly he is very important with squad right now. Yes, he might have a slight little bit of a slow start, but right now in October, everything just kind of start to come along nicely with him. And even though for the first 20 minutes that he played, I think he was very bright, to be honest, taking on a lot of the wide backs and center backs, and I think he did a brilliant job. But it was a bummer that we see him walked away being subbed off. But at the same time, we have something new today. We have Reiss Nelson once again, and hopefully again, I really do want Reiss Nelson to kind of establish himself more into the squad. We don't have we don't have depth in the squad, and right there this season, I really do hope Reiss Nelson is going to be an important squad player, and potentially he is going to have a good season with us, and potentially sign a new contract with us as well. I think he might come in useful, but in terms of the level, I don't think he would ever reach to Bukayo Saka's level anymore. But the fact that if he remains fit in the squad, provide great competition to Bukayo Saka, then I think we are pretty much sorted in the right midfielder area. But at the same time, I'm not going to blame Arteta if they decided to go for a different direction, go for a different wide midfielder, or maybe Reiss might be getting sold. Who knows, to be honest, but that'll be it. Thursday, FC Zurich. It is going to be an important game. I know they're at the bottom of the Europa League group stage, but still, if you're able to compete in Europa League, you're definitely capable playing against Arsenal and might have a good result. But of course, hopefully that's not good. That's not going to be the case. But we certainly do need to win that game regardless, and that's going to be an important game. And then Chelsea, Brighton, not that much Carabao Cup. I think it's all fine. And of course, finish it off with Wolves. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.